Small upstate New York village of Watkins Glen. Here, some 50 years ago, drivers raced their tiny MGs and powerful Allards through the streets of the town before a permanent circuit was built in 1955. And for years, that circuit hosted the United States Grand Prix, where each fall, some of the greatest drivers in the world battled for a world championship. And today, the Motorola Cup Street Stock Racers return to their roots for a 3-hour showdown at the Glen. From Watkins Glen, New York, it's round number 8 of the Motorola Cup. Brought to you by Motorola, web without wires. By Deringer, complete international logistic solutions. And by Sunoco, ethanol-enhanced Ultra 94, the gasoline that powers the Motorola Cup. Hello, I'm Jim Martin, and welcome to Watkins Glen, where another huge field of street stock cars is out for the pace lap. And getting ready for the start in one of those cars is my hands-on broadcast partner for today, Terry Earwood.
Hey, Jim, how you doing? I'm in the Honda Prelude SI from Mark and Vicki Hine out of Clearwater, Florida. This is one of the cars we won the championship with back in 1996. Well, I'm telling you, excited to be down here today.
You got the best seat in the house, there's no doubt about it. Or the things that some people will go to, those lengths, to avoid buying a general admission ticket. Terry, it looks as though you got a great seat as far as the race is concerned. How about this circuit, though?
One of my favorite tracks in the country, 3.37 miles long, 11 turns. This is a section of the racetrack here called the Boot that the NASCAR guys don't run on. This is a fun part of the track, a lot of downhill, a lot of uphill. You're going to see in a few seconds some concrete patches. They had to add these patches because the track was tearing up. And you talk about a change in traction, a change in grip. It's unbelievable what the car does when you get down to that concrete. You can turn in with the car sliding, it hits the concrete and sticks and actually returns the car. This is a flat-out corner here coming toward the front straightaway. Big fun corner here.
Big race coming up. 3 hours in duration altogether. 2 different drivers in all of the cars. 4 different classes, as always, with the Motorola Cup. And what this also means is we're going to see a whole bunch of pit stops along the way, too. The field getting lined up, ready for the green flag. Time now to look at our Speed Stick fastest qualifiers. On the pole in Grand Sport, the Wilkins and Maxwell number 0 Ford Mustang. Lapsevich and Terry Borchiller sharing the 44 car beside them. McMillan and Culver in the BMW will line up 3rd in the field. In sport, Goldsboro and Gleason in the Lexus Gs400. The 2 Acuras of Barassa, Stewart, Murray, and Van Sicklen line up 2nd and 3rd in the class. As far as touring, we've got the 71 Peter Schwartzau Bob Endicott Acura Integra. Then the Nunamaker 41 Mazda 626 and the Shanneman MX-6. In compact class, we've got the Heinz and Merkons 95 Mazda Miata lining up just in front of the 48 Oldschiva of Magner and Del Vecchio and the Specken Whitaker 92 Mazda Miata 3rd in compact. We'll be right back with the start of the Motorola Cup from Watkins Glen International in just a moment. The car is coming down the straightaway headed for the start of the Motorola Cup round here at Watkins Glen. Looks like we've got another huge field from the look of things as the Grand Sport cars come by. We've got a car with a problem right off the bat. The 18 Mitsubishi Eclipse of John Drew and Neil Hafron on fire. He stopped it along pit lane and immediately the safety crews go to work. But it certainly doesn't look as though their day's going to go too much further than that. The 18 Mitsubishi stops before we see a green, which is now out, headed down the start-finish line, and we've got a race leader already. Greg Wilkins in the 0 Ford Mustang will lead the field into turn number 1, but he's got lots of company. They try to spread it out just a little bit. His teammate Machine right beside him, and then the Zippo Ford Mustang slots into the 2nd spot. Ford Mustangs 1, 2, and 3 coming up to the top of the hill for the first time. Greg Wilkins in the 0 car is the race leader. The Zippo car, the 44 Ford Mustang of Jeff Lapsevich, runs in 2nd spot, but he's got a big challenge to the outside. David Lacey tries to go around, but doesn't. Into that 3rd quarter of the race circuit. Bit of a battle going on as far as the sport class. The Lexus and Acura cars run side by side as well. Now pulling out a bit of a gap, the number 9 Lexus just in front of that 10 Acura Integra. The Team Hurricane car falls into 2nd spot in the sport class on the 1st lap. Coming down the straightaway, the Ford Mustangs seem to have a bit of an advantage in a straight line here, but the BMW closes it up under braking. The number 22 BMW of Jeff McMillan. really looks as though he may be a factor before things are done here today. The 0 car of Greg Wilkins looks as though he may be holding people up just a little bit. As looking to the inside coming into the quarter is Jeff Lapsevich in that 44 Ford Mustang riding on board now. With Wilkins as the 44 car has gotten by, as does the 22 BMW. Jeff McMillan has gotten by in the BMW. Greg Wilkins gets passed by 2 of the race cars, finds himself down in 3rd position. As we've got out front now, the Jeff Lapsevich, number 44 Ford Mustang. The 22 BMW runs in 2nd. The 0 Mustang now in 3rd spot. Hey, let's check in, see how the race is going as far as Terry Earwood and that number 59 Honda.
Hey, Jim, it's been a ball out here. I'm telling you, we start qualified 9th. We're up about 7th right now. Big traffic here. These Mazdas and Acuras are all over the place. We're trying to get by 2 of them right now. Oh, he missed shift. Hang on a second. He missed that shift now and go to 3rd gear. We normally track out that spot. This is a flat-out section through here. If we can get a draft, if we can get a tow up this hill, we keep these 2 guys off my butt. I wish you could see in this rearview mirror. We're trying to get up here. This is flat out. You got to turn left. You got to turn right. And you can't make a teeny mistake here. The cars are already over 107 miles an hour looking down the speedometer. We head to 110 at the exit. Even though it goes a little bit uphill here, woof, I'm telling you.
Sounds like Terry's got his hands full. And talking about having his hands full, Jeff Lapsevich in the 44 Zippo Ford Mustang has a BMW all over the back bumper. McMillan in the 22 car looks to the inside. If he can just get up beside the Ford Mustang, he can probably outbrake him into a corner, but it will be interesting to see whether or not that will actually happen. The BMWs notoriously have a little bit better braking as far as on a road circuit like this one, where the top speed down the straightaways is rather substantial. The big American cars have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to the handling capabilities. The 22 car still maintains contact with our race leader, Jeff Lapsevich, in that 44 Zippo car out front. The 22 BMW coming down the straightaway. Will he look to the inside? Not in this corner. Jeff McMillan runs in 2nd spot, fading just a little bit. The 0 car of Greg Wilkins. McMillan trying real hard using the racetrack, and well, all of it and then some, trying to maintain a little bit of, perhaps a little more momentum than the race leader coming onto that straightaway one more time. Lots of people doing likewise, using all of the racetrack, getting back on the track and almost squeezing somebody else into a guardrail, but manages to make it happen. That's Mark Hackley in the 47 Zippo car, using a little bit of the track there. Now looking to the inside. Here comes Jeff McMillan taking over the lead. The 22 BMW, now the race leader. Jeff Lapsevich falls to 2nd spot in the 44 car. Pulling out the pace just a little bit, the 0, the pole sitter with Greg Wilkins aboard. So far over the course of the 1999 Motorola Cup season, we haven't seen a BMW win. Today might be the day. Jeff McMillan and Mike Calder sharing that number 22, the Bombardier sponsored BMW, out in front of the 44 Ford Mustang, which isn't giving away too much real estate. Jeff Lapsevich driving real hard to try to stay in touch with our race leaders so far. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Mustang can maintain that kind of pace and stay in contact with the BMW out front. Now riding on board as we look at the touring class battle, the 71 of Peter Schwartzat driving to the outside of the 41 class leader. The Nunemaker number 41 Mazda 626 maintains his position. Peter Schwartzat puts a hand up in the air as if to say, I gave it a try anyway. Peter Schwartzat, the 71 Acura Integra. Well, what a great battle we've got. 1, 2, and 3 in the touring class. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd again on board with Peter Schwartzat. Just out in front, the Nunemaker 41 Mazda with a slide. A great big one on the one side. A textbook hook slide as he slides to the outside of the racetrack and hands the touring class lead back to Peter Schwartzat. Mark Hine will move up to 2nd spot as we still have 1, 2, and 3. We've got full course yellows coming out around the circuit as well, and a tow vehicle out too. A great time to take a look and find out how things are going for Terry Earwood.
Things calmed down a little bit with that full course yellow. Boy, I tell you, to quote Tom Davies, it's been like a prison escape out here for the last 45 minutes. But it's been a great run. We've moved up to about 5th. We're coming around a record now. That's one reason. Actually, there was no big reason for this full course yellow. There were a lot of cars sort of parked out here, but I thought they were sort of in safe conditions. Because you know, the problem is the guys you passed for the last 30 minutes, now they've all caught back up to you. Yeah, we're going to get near our leaders, but we still got a ways to go.
We'll be back with more from Watkins Glen. Welcome back to the Motorola Cup from Watkins Glen. The lights are off on the safety car, and what that means is we're all set for a restart. The 22 of Jeff McMillan, the BMW M3 leads. Jeff Lapsevich right on his back bumper challenging. We've had some changes, too, from the look of things. Devin Powell in the number 11 Sunoco Fiber drives to the inside of that number 7 David Lacey Ford Mustang and steals away 3rd place. David Lacey was in 4th. As a matter of fact, the 0 car, Greg Wilkins, has faded somewhat. Still runs in 6th position just behind one of Joe Aquilati's cars. As we watch the race leaders go by, one of the racier cars out there is the 32 of Marty Miller, and it looks as though we may have a change up front, too. The 44 Zippo Ford Mustang of Jeff Lapsevich looks to the inside of the corner and steals away first spot again. Once the brakes and tires had a chance to cool down after that brief yellow, it looks as though the Ford Mustang is once again one of the racier cars out on the racetrack. Jeff Lapsevich, the race leader, the 11 car of Devin Powell. We now ride on board as we get another look at this one. Devin Powell gets passed by the 32 of Marty Miller in that exchange, too. Lots of changes up front. The race leader now, the 44 Zippo Mustang, Jeff Lapsevich. He'll be sharing the ride with Terry Borchler today. And now, once again, the BMW drive to the inside of the corner. The same place as off the top. The 22 of Jeff McMillan steals away first place under braking and goes by Jeff Lapsevich. And now with the cars lined up coming down the straightaway, let's go on board with Devin Powell and get a look at this three-abreast run into the corner, which leads into the inner loop. The BMW brakes later than everybody else and actually steals away the lead from the big American cars, which have to get on the brakes a little bit earlier, and actually pulls out a substantial margin, about 2 car lengths coming into the corner. Another pass for second place this time. Marty Miller in the 32 Phoenix American Pontiac takes away second place from Lapsevich. Jeff Lapsevich in the Mustang now falls to third. The race leader, Jeff McMillan, in the 22 BMW, now being chased by a Pontiac Firebird and then the Ford Mustang. Marty Miller with a nice move moving into second spot. Lapsevich falls to third. It's Devin Powell in fourth right now. The race leader is that 22 BMW of Jeff McMillan. So far, the race of the day belongs to Marty Miller in that 32 Phoenix American Firebird. He started 7th in the field and is now up to second spot, just behind the 22 BMW. In behind, there's some action going on. The 11 Sunoco Firebird of Devin Powell looks to the inside of the Zippo Ford Mustang, and there's another Mustang going to try to hold on to his back bumper and steal away the position as well. I don't think he's quite going to be able to do it. Devin Powell, though, in the 11 car, does get by the 44 of Jeff Lapsevich and moves him back another position. So Devin Powell moves into third spot in the field. BMW, Firebird, Mustang. Once again up in Grand Sport, the head of the field being represented by a number of different car makers. The 44 car slides back another position now. As up into that spot, it's the 7 Ford Mustang of David Lacey. Let's check in with Terry Earwood and see how things are going back in the touring class. Terry?
I think we're up to about 5th here. This has been a great race. We now the big VA cars are passing us now, so we have to be very, very careful that we don't lose any positions in touring as we're getting lapped by the overall leaders. Not a big deal. Sometimes you can use their draft. I've got 2 on my butt right here, but I want to lead into this 4th gear corner. I cannot afford to get in there. Oh, the Mustang goes way wide. Where are you headed, son? That's way wide in that apex. I'm just worried about him coming back across. I can see him on my right side, but fortunately he doesn't pop back out here. Boy, half time they'll do that to you.
Boy, we got a replay of that one. That was an interesting little event there. The number 7 of David Lacey. Boy, he slides way wide. A great big slide. He's on the brakes while he's doing this, and he actually scrubs off a little bit of speed, and a good thing, too, because he keeps it off the wall. After that initial mistake, a nice piece of driving as he slowly eases it back onto the racetrack and avoids Terry, which is probably what it's all about once you make a mistake. And we've got another car off the racetrack as well. This time, it's the 17 Ford Mustang. That's Mark Ackley in another one of the Zippo team cars. Gets the car all the way around and now back on the racetrack once again. The 17 Ford Mustang slides off the racetrack, but he is back underway. Let's catch up to the race leaders once again, as we've got a pass for the lead. The 32 Marty Miller Firebird takes over first spot. The race leaders making their way through traffic. Jeff McMillan obviously got held up just a little bit and taking advantage. Marty Miller in that 32 Firebird steals away the lead from Jeff McMillan. The 22 BMW now falls to second. And still some of the traffic now becoming a bigger and bigger piece of this race. Marty Miller doing a great job in traffic, taking advantage and taking away first spot from Jeff McMillan. The BMW, the 22 car, falls to second. The 32 Phoenix American Firebird is the race leader. Actually, probably one of the most improved drivers in the Motorola Cup, as a matter of fact. Marty Miller in this 32 car started a couple of years back, just an occasional red rider, and he's really come a long way, and as a matter of fact leads this race, doing a great job not only on his own but getting by Terry Earwood coming into the corner there. Marty Miller runs in first place. The 22 BMW runs in second spot, and we've got a car stopped out on the racetrack. The number 10 Acura is stopped out there. It looks as though he's got some damage. The yellow flag's waving at that particular incident. and we'll have to see whether or not we can find out exactly what's happened. John Barassa and Lance Stewart sharing the number 10 Team Hurricane Acura with some damage to the car, and they pull it off the track. We'll get a view here. We'll ride along board with Peter Schwartz on as the incidents happen just in front of us. We watch the 10 car slide wide into the dirt, drives it backwards and into the wall, and that's where the damage occurred to that race car. The number 10 car stopped out on the race circuit and has brought out full course yellows. The car is stopped on the race circuit, and he's in the grass, but still in a rather precarious spot. So we'll go to full course yellow, bring out the safety car. Lots of people diving into the pits, including the race leader, number 32, where we've got a driver change happening. The BMW looks as though he may get out first. We'll check on more action in just a moment from the Motorola Cup round here at Watkins Glen. Interesting cars in the Motorola Cup for 99 is this one, the Lexus Gs400. It runs in the sports class. It's the heaviest car in the series, and it's also the only one with an automatic transmission.
We felt, and Lexus feels, that they don't sell this car with a 6-speed or 5-speed in this country. They wanted the automatic run. So it took some homework. We had some problems the first race at Sebring. We had transmission failures in both cars. We developed them, and with a company called Level 10 out of New Jersey, and they are now bulletproof. They're very reliable, and they take unbelievable punishment. We shift them by hand. Once we leave the pits in first and second, we mainly use third, fourth, and fifth throughout the races at most of the tracks. It's been a learning program. It's a 3-year deal, and the first year was always planned as a developmental year, and we had hoped for some top 5 finishes, and we've surpassed our goals for this first year.
As a matter of fact, the car scored its first victory in our last race at Road Atlanta, the first ever race victory for a Lexus. He's done a great job with the car, and as it stands right now, it's running second in the sport class. As we look back on the restart, our race leader right now is Mike Weinberg in the 35 car from Joe Accoletti's team. The 35 machine, though, is one of the racers which has not come in for a pit stop. So the overall race leader is Mike Weinberg. Let's see how Terry made out on that restart. Terry, you still with us?
Hey, Tim, I'm hanging in here. We had a great restart. You know, the crew called a green from way back here. So we got about 5 cars coming up onto the inner loop. And we're looking at this 43 car right now. This is for 4th place in class. If we can just get around this 43 car, reminds me a lot of Richard Petty because he don't mind bouncing off of things out here. These guys, the automakers, they're tough competitors. But notice how he's wandering around some. If I can just get a draft coming over this straightaway here, I think I can pop him by the time we get down to the end of the straight. Up, here we go. Thank you very much. Hang on. I'll be right back with you.
Terry Earwood looks like he's having way too much fun. We've got cars in along pit lane, including the race leader. Mike Weinberg will get out. Stu Hayner will take his place in that 35 machine, which leaves us with a new race leader out on the racetrack. The number 11, Sunoco Firebird. Devin Powell started in the car. Doug Goad after the pit stop. Now behind the wheel of the race-leading number 11 car. The 11 Firebird is out front, using up all of the racetrack. Doug Goad is in some kind of a hurry to establish as big a lead as he possibly can and try to hold on to that spot as we head toward the middle distance. An interesting race strategy. The number 11 car almost always doesn't qualify near the front as far as Grand Sports is concerned. As often as not, they're 5th, they're 6th in the pack. However, they run a very consistent race pace, and it looks as though more often than not, that strategy pays big dividends as the race comes back to them. And again, here at Watkins Glen today, the 11 of Doug Goad and his teammate Devin Powell find themselves out front as everybody else has come in for the routine pit stops. They've run a nice, fast, and not extremely punishing tempo pace here at Watkins Glen, the 11 car, the race leader. Let's go on board with one of the sport class cars. 3rd in sport, the number 72 BMW of Andy Lawley, having a real fine battle trying to chase down the 74 Zippo Ford Mustang immediately in front of him. 2 very different automobiles in different classes, as a matter of fact. Theoretically, the Grand Sport Ford Mustang should be a lot faster, but Andy doing a great job, and the team preparing that car extremely well, too. Another good battle happening out here. Here's the sport class leader, the 63 Mike Van Sicklen David Murray Acura, trying to put a lap down on the number 10 Acura, which is quite obviously back in our race. The compact class leader, the 91 Mazda Miata, John Phillips and Peter Tonelli, 91 Mazda. It's had things pretty well in hand through a majority of our contest. Doug Goad quickly opening up a lead, though. That lead about to vanish from the look of things. The safety car, word comes over the net, the safety car is back out on the racetrack. Doug Goad, who had worked extremely hard over the last couple of laps. Here we see the safety car about to pick up the race leader. Doug Goad in that 11th Sunoco Firebird has had all his hard work go for naught. As once again, safety car out in front. Let's take a look at our STP leaderboard. As it stands now, the 11 Firebird leads the 0 Scott Maxwell Ford Mustang. Stu Hayner in the 35 Firebird runs in third in the sport class. It's that 63 Murray Van Sicklen Acura Integra just in front of the Bunny Gleason number 90 Lexus. Back in touring, we've got the Mark Hine and John Green number 58 Honda Prelude. We've got the Schwartz on Endicott 71 Acura running second, and in compact, Phillips and Tonelli. Mazda Miata car number 91 leading their class. While we're under full course yellow and everybody has a chance to catch their breath, let's check in with Terry Earwood. Terry, how are things?
Hey, Jim, Max, I'm coming to see you. The crew's just calling me in. It's time for a driver change, time for some gas. We're on pit lane right now. I already have undone my seat belts. I'm getting ready to hop out of this car. Gary Blackman's standing right here in the middle of the track waiting to change over, so I'm looking forward to coming to the booth, even though I hate to get out of the car. There's Gary. As we come to a stop, I've got everything undone. I got to get out of here. I'll see you in a minute.
All right, we'll talk to you in just a second. Terry Earwood on board the Honda Prelude as we're under full course yellow here at Watkins Glen. We'll be back with more in a moment. Getting set for the race start. Terry is back with us safe and sound. Hey, great job, by the way.
Had a good time. I wish you could have been with me.
No, I wouldn't go that far. The race leader, Doug Goad, in the number 11 Sunoco Firebird, running second now. Stu Hayner in the 32 car goes by the 73 Ford Mustang for second spot. The 0 Ford looks as though he's going to make the pass as well. As it stands right now, we've got the 11 car out front, and look at the gap that he's managed to pull out here. As we watch the racers come up the hill one more time, we've had some action down in turn number 1. We watch the 09 Ford Mustang go around.
This is one of the Hacker Brothers cars. You know, they're back. They ran in touring and in sports in every class in the world. These guys got a lot of runs, but they definitely one of the guys that turned the car around in turn 1. Here on the long straightaway, we see another move for second place.
The 32 car getting by. That's a Hayner Miller Firebird getting by one of the Coca-Cola Ford Mustangs, which again on the restart started out strong but has faded just a little bit once we got racing. Now we go on board with the 71 Acura Integra just sneaking up behind the 58 Honda.
This is Bob Endicott, second place in touring, trying to get around John Green, my old teammate here. This is for the lead in touring, side-by-side action, going down to the inner loop. But he has to tuck back inside. These cars cannot go through here two abreast. He's going to let the Prelude lead. The Acura has a little more horsepower. Prelude handles maybe a teeny bit better. And he's just right there, tracing him down. This is going to be a big run to the finish.
Boy, what a great battle. Those two cars cannot be any more closely matched, I don't think.
No, we saw a great run at Three Rivers with these cars. They took turns swapping every lap.
A little bit further behind, trying to get a little bit of a tow. We watched the compact class tuck in there. The 92 Mazda Miata. Oh, and we had a big wheel lock up there. Bob Endicott trying a little bit too hard to try to catch up to that Honda Prelude just out front.
And it's funny about these Miatas, even though they're in compact class, they run with these touring cars in a lot of places on the track. Speaking of touring, we're back in V8s.
Boy, the big V8s coming down the straightaway, and a great big gap now for Doug Goad is once again on the restart. He's opened it up. The 32 Firebird runs second. The 0 car, Scott Maxwell, now behind the wheel of the Trizac Hahn Coca-Cola car, running in third spot, and he looks as though he may be trying for a pass into second. Whoa, one of the 92 car that we talked about earlier, the 92 Mazda Miata with a great big slide and just a little touch in the second place Acura there as he goes by.
And he stands right in front of the back. It's like a giant bullseye on the side of the car. You know who's going to hit me and whereabouts. He's got it locked up, but now he rolls at the last second. He would not have gotten touched if he hadn't released that brake pedal, but at least he knocked him back straight. Now you know how it feels to be a meat in a sandwich as you're cringing, hoping nobody gets you from the butt.
Oh, boy, looking in the rearview mirror, hoping nobody collects you along the way. And we've got another race on our hands. This is a battle for second place. Coming up the inside, Scott Maxwell drives to the inside of that 32 Firebird and takes second spot. Scott Maxwell in the 0 Coca-Cola Mustang up in the second place with a real nice run down the straightaway.
You know, Doug Goad got a great start here, and therefore he has left these guys. If they'll just hook up for a minute, if they'll just run nose to tail, there's plenty of room to draft here at the Glen. You know, it's anybody's race if you'll run together. But we've seen these guys corner after corner try to outbreak each other, try to lead as if it were a Saturday night dirt track race. We can get paid by the lap. But right now, we're hooked up pretty good. We see the BMW still there, number 22, hanging on. One of the Doug Goad power cars right back there in the back. This is still anybody's race if they play together and not fight each other.
Hey, some real play and nice action coming down the straightaway as the 95 Mazda Miata points the race leader by. And we get another look at just how big the gap between Doug Goat and the balance of the field is. Scott Maxwell running in second spot with the headlights on that 0 Ford Mustang. Scott's got a tendency to do this, to try to clear a path for himself a little bit, and it seems to work usually. But boy, he's got a lot of real estate to try to catch up into that first spot.
Yeah, the smaller class cars, we try to get the big guys by. And if you got the headlights on, we know you're coming, and we do the best we can. Like I said, I was out there for an hour and a half trying to let the big guys by fairly. Speaking of by.
Yeah, speaking of getting by, the 32 Firebird now drives to the inside of the Ford Mustang. These two guys you mentioned earlier have been driving the wheels off of these cars, having a great battle amongst themselves, but it's not helping them out as far as the race is concerned. Could it be that these two guys, by battling so hard amongst each other, they're going to wear the tires off of these cars and allow Doug Goat just to walk away?
Well, you use the car harder, plus the fact that it slows both of you down. Anytime you're passing another guy, if you've got to pass in the braking zone, you're going to slow both cars down more than a single car does. Now, two cars running together on the straightaway, they can outrun the other guys. Watch this BMW tuck it behind this Mustang. If you'll stay right there for a while, they can run faster and catch the two cars in front of them.
And it seems as though the BMW has been the big benefactor of this race between the 32 and 0 cars right out front. He's driven a nice, clean race. Mike Culver now behind the wheel of that 22 car, slowly catching up to the second and third place Grand Sport machinery. And it looks as though Mike Culver might be setting them up for a pass as they're all chasing the 11 Sunoco Firebird. Doug Goat, a race leader down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Culver, very technical. He was one of the Skip Barber students. He used to race with us, a great guy. Watch him tuck out. Use that draft at the last minute in the braking zone. Use the big brakes of the BMW as he gets around another car. Now he's got a big run up this long straightaway. Mustang will try to get him back. You can't run 3 cars abreast here. So Mike, but they're going to try.
Mike decides better of it and will let the 0 car go by at least that lap anyway. Mike Culver has learned a lot of lessons along the way and is one of the guys who's come a long way in the last couple of years. Started out, as you mentioned earlier, as a student of racing, as a rental driver on occasion, and now as a full-time driver in this number 22 BMW, and it looks as though he's learned a lot of lessons pretty well along the way.
We're back with Bob Endicott, the number 71 car, trying to chase down John Green. These guys have thought, when the green cars do run, the Mark Hine cars, then this is the first and second place battle every time. Now, what you're going to see is a big draft running here. Watch the 71 car. He has gained 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths. He actually can pass him on the outside. It's not with higher horsepower, a little bit there, but it's all a big draft, a big run. Now,
I like the wave. Hey, thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
There's a lot of communication. Sometimes it's less fingers than that. But anyway, he's going to let him go in there inside the inner loop.
Hey, what a great battle it was. We got to ride along board with Bob Endicott as he went by and took away first spot. Now back in the sport class, the 63 Acura Integra R, Mike Van Sicklen and David Murray. David Murray with a rare appearance in the Motorola Cup today, and it looks as though things are going pretty well for him.
Yeah, David was Grand Sports champion out of Atlanta several years ago. He can drive anything in the world.
Certainly proving that today. So far this afternoon, first in class in the Acura Integra here at Watkins Glen. Full course yellows. We've got a steady yellow flag.
It's some body work. It's look like a rear bumper or whatever up in the top of the S's. Boy, this is a high-speed area to be losing pieces.
And once again, because this is a high-speed piece of the race course and we don't want anything nasty to be happening, we brought out the full course yellow, the safety cars on the track. Lots of cars coming in for pit stops, the 72 BMW and the 22. The car that was in the hunt for the race leadership has come in for a routine stop. Here's the race leader now, too. The 11 Sunoco Firebird comes in for a stop. We'll take a break with more action to come for the Motorola Cup here at Watkins Glen in a moment. On the restart, as a result of a whole slew of pit stops, we've got a new race leader. The number 31 car is actually out front. It's Peter Tonelli and Craig Conway sharing the 31 Sunoco Firebird. They are the race leaders now under green once again here at Watkins Glen. In second spot is the 32 Firebird as we watch the field go through, and we've got lots of action again in corner number 1.
Well, this happens on a restart, especially in turn 1. Guys go down there about 5 cars abreast, brake too late trying to pass, and you get bumped off in that dirt.
The number 65 Firebird, it slides through the gravel trap, and which does exactly what it's supposed to, slow the car down and allows them to get it back on the racetrack. Now we'll follow the race leaders and take a look at the gap. Not much of one between first and second now, about 3 car lengths as they head through the chicane. The 31 of Tonelli and Conway leading the 32 Firebird. Firebirds 1 and 2 so far.
Yeah, if these cars stay hooked up, they can run away from that third place car. And we've talked about the draft in the past, and especially 2 identical cars.
The 2 identical Firebirds out front. It looks like the 32 machine looking for a way to get by so far unsuccessfully.
Well, 31 did a protective move. He ran down in the right side of the braking zone so he wouldn't get past in the toe of the boot. That just slows both cars down.
Slows both cars down, and driving with one eye in the rearview mirror certainly isn't going to improve your lap times any either.
Now, you can only drive one car at a time, even though you need to know where the other guy is.
Well, so far doing a great job trying to expand that a little bit of a bobble there at the exit of the corner. The 31 car maybe missed the shift.
Could have missed a shift. Actually, it's like it spit on gas. Did that car stop this last go around?
No, that's exactly why he's out there, and he may be running low on fuel. The car bobbles just a little bit and allows the 32 machine to take over the race lead. Another race leader now with the Mustang running in second. The 31 Firebird comes in for fuel as well as tires in long pit lane.
Oh, I'd like to read their pit strategy because, come in under green. That's tough. Our leader, the 32 car, but we can see second place, 44, right back there. He's close enough to be within the draft now as we head down to the interlude.
Terry Borchler in that 44 Zippo Ford Mustang now runs in second spot, trying to gain that little bit of real estate between himself and the first place Firebird. Terry's doing a great job, and if there is anybody that can drive the wheels off a race car enough to maybe put it in the first spot, that's him.
Looks like we have a new leader in sports, our 72, Andy Lally, BMW.
Andy Lally and Howie Liebengood in that 72, the BMW Z3, its first full season of competition, and it looks as though he's got his hands full with that number 10 Acura, which was a lap down earlier on. Doesn't want to give up the fight by any stretch.
Yeah, he turned the car around, caused full course yellow earlier. You can see the damage on the back of that car. So this is not a fight for position, but it's a fight for, it's a guy thing. You got to be out there. That Z3, one of the most nimble cars you have ever driven. We got a chance to run one pretty hard not too long ago, and the car, it's like a giant shifter kart on steroids.
It's a go-kart with a 2.8 liter motor in it. The race leader, the 32 Firebird, and hot on his heels, Terry Borchler. And he's indeed made up a whole bunch of that territory he needs to get by, and he's taken away the lead. The 32 car slows out on the racetrack. Maybe another fuel problem out there.
Could very well be. Again, the strategy thing looks like it may be a driver change too.
Looks like a driver change as well. The 32 car was our race leader. Now in the hands of Terry Borchler. The 44 Zippo Ford Mustang inherits the lead after the 32 Firebird stops for what looks to be a routine fuel and tire stop. We'll be back with more action from Watkins Glen in just a moment. Terry Borchler leads. Motorola wireless communication is not only used here at the track, but by coaches in the NFL, too. Here's Doug Brownridge, the director of marketing from Motorola.
Yeah, what we're doing with the NFL is it's gone wireless this year in two ways. The first is that the coaches themselves are now wireless with their headsets, so they can run up and down the sidelines and not worry about 300-pound defensive tackle stepping on their court at a key moment in the game, which did happen in the past. The other thing is that they're equipped with a special version of a pager, and if 80,000 people think there was a bad call by the ref, they now can page from the sidelines to the referee and ask for an instant replay right up to the last minute of the game. We've got a new line of phones that is called the Talk About line, and it's made for a combination of social and business use. So it's got different colored face plates that you can clip on in 1 or 2 seconds, and there's a whole line of all 31 NFL teams to support our position as the official sponsor of the NFL.
To find out more, check out Motorola.com on the World Wide Web. Back here on the racetrack, the number 44 of Terry Borchler is our race leader. His teammate in the 17 car now running in second spot, well back. The 22 BMW of Jack McMillan and Mike Culver running in third position. Terry Borchler seems to have things well in hand, but the 17 car is on a big charge. And behind the wheel is somebody that really knows his way around the track here at Watkins Glen. Todd Snyder's now driving.
Yeah, Todd, one of our co-instructors at Skip Barber. He tests here also runs in the Pro Series this weekend. And watch for Todd to stay up there toward the front.
Hey, watch for Todd to stay up here at the front, and watch for Todd in the future, too. One of the up-and-coming names as far as road racing. Looks as though the 22 BMW's had a little altercation with somebody rearranging some of the front bodywork on that car, but it still runs pretty strongly in third position. Mike Culver behind the wheel of that 22 BMW, trying to stay in the hunt for the first place here at Watkins Glen this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a funny racetrack for the cars. You know, the VA cars run better on the long straightaways. The BMW brakes better, corners a little bit better, and yet we're all still right there. I agree, Bill. It's a skew in the front bumper.
Not quite the way it rolled out of the showroom, that's for sure. Todd Snyder doing a great job in that 17 machine. We saw a spin earlier on by his teammate Mark Ackley. Didn't damage the car, though, and it looks as though he's handed a pretty fine race machine over to his teammate. Todd Snyder in that 17 car has made a substantial dent in the gap the 44 machine holds. We've got Terry Borchler in the 44 Zippo Ford Mustang as our race leader currently. It looks as though he may be slowing just a little bit on the racetrack. It's about time for a pit stop, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he's coming in. He's in the right lane here. You've got to tuck down to the apex of turn 11, stay on the right side of the racetrack to make the pits. 55-mile-an-hour speed limit.
So the 44 Zippo Ford Mustang gives up first spot, but gives it up to his teammate. And it looks as though some of the team wasn't expecting them to come down pit lane just there.
Or they were questioning why weren't the guys already over the wall as the car was sliding to a stop on the other. Todd Snyder leads this thing. I tell you, Todd has come so far. He is very, very fast, but now he's really smoothed out. Looks like a little problem on the left front with his pit stop.
John Kohler comes over and asks what exactly the problem is as the team goes to work on the front end of the Ford Mustang. The 44 car continues to lose ground. While their teammate in the 17 machine, Todd Snyder, continues to circulate, doing a pretty fair job getting through traffic without too much bother. The Zippo Ford Mustang is the race leader currently.
Yeah, you know, Todd gets to hop in his car about every third race, and when he does, it's like he never left it.
Oh, that's for sure. It really is apparent that Todd Snyder is one of the people to watch for in the future, as he's doing a great job, even though he doesn't get the regular kind of exposure to the Motorola Cup that a lot of the other regulars do.
No, especially coming from a little light 1,000-pound rear engine type car to jump in this big old V8. A nice transition.
Dennis Baglier in the number 51 Mazda MX-6 is shredded one of the Hoosier tires.
Yeah, it's come apart. Can't tell exactly where he is on the racetrack right now. I got a pretty good ways to get back to the pits, and that's just tearing up the bodywork on the way in.
Well, I got to give him credit for trying to slow it down and limp the car around as opposed to see how fast he can get back there and maybe cause a problem for somebody else.
Yeah, plus being a front drive car, he's lost a good part of his traction and steering.
A big problem. One of the problems not being had by Todd Snyder, though, getting through some of the traffic and making it look easy. And as he does so, he stretches the lead out just a little bit more. The 17 car running on his home turf here at Watkins Glen. Todd Snyder lives just down the road, as a matter of fact, and is probably as well acquainted with this racetrack as any that he's ever seen.
Yeah, home track teaching, though, for us is Lime Rock, Connecticut, but we're up here several times a year, and he just loves this racetrack like we all do. Big, long track. Pretty big transition from 1.6 mile at Lime Rock to 3.7 mile here. Here you see Tom get a pass by. Again, the smaller class cars try to get those big V8 cars by in a safe place that doesn't slow anybody down. Oh, dirt here.
Yeah, we've got somebody who's kicked up a whole bunch of dust, and in the middle of it, there's a race car, as a matter of fact, the number 24 Acura.
Yeah, I don't think that's Jeff Ford in the 24 car, but this car we've seen off the track oops, see the wheel spin and the car not move. That's what that kitty litter does. This car spends a lot of time in the kitty litter. I think he needs to check his diet.
Hub deep, as a matter of fact. The 24 Honda is going to be stuck there for quite some time. We see a yellow flag up there on the racetrack. Here we are back at Watkins Glen as we watch the pace car peel off, headed for the finish of the Motorola Cup round. Our overall race leader, the number 17 Todd Snyder Ford Mustang, leads the field across the start-finish line and into corner number 1. Second place is that number 22 BMW, and right on his heels is the teammate to our race leader, the 47 Ford Mustang. He's actually third on the racetrack, but not third in the standings. He's about a lap down.
Yeah, it's not for position, but if he can pressure Mike Culver in the 22 BMW to make a mistake, then they've got a guaranteed win up there. He's trying to protect his teammate Todd Snyder's first place position.
Actually, he's doing a pretty fair job. He's all over the back bumper of the BMW, actually looking down the inside coming into the corner. Can't make a pass, but he's certainly keeping him occupied, and perhaps occupied enough that Mike Culver's not going to be able to chase down the 17 Mustang out front.
Yeah, he's not going to outbrake this BMW going to the end loop, especially this late in the race. This BMW still has plenty of brakes, plenty of tires, and that's one thing the Mustangs have done, is used up a lot of brake and a lot of tire. End of a 3-hour race. This is one of the hardest tracks in the country on brakes, so we'll just see what Todd has left, even though I've seen him make an extremely wide Mustang in the past.
John Kohler looking to the inside of the 22 Mike Culver BMW again, coming into the corner. Gary Smith is really doing a great job. If his modus operandi out there is just to harass Mike Culver, hey, he's getting full marks for it this afternoon.
Yeah, all he needs to do is fill up those rearview mirrors and hope Mike can make a mistake, or at least hope Mike slows him down just enough where he can't catch Todd, assuming Todd has enough car to go to the finish.
Actually, that's going to be a good question. The Ford Mustangs are notoriously hard on tires and brakes and all the rest of it. The BMW, by the same token, a little bit easier on those things. Could Mike Culver have a lot more car left?
He could have a lot more car. Plus, we don't know where we are on gas mileage. I've seen no pit strategy on the same page in this entire race. We've seen Firebirds and Mustangs and BMWs all stopping at different points, so I don't know where we are in gas.
That's a very good question as we approach the final few minutes here at Watkins Glen. The race leader still that white Zippo Ford Mustang out front, the number 17 car. The 47 Mustang is actually third. And again, harassing him this time to the outside of the corner. Mike Culver in the 22 Bombardier BMW running in second spot, trying to get a clear enough racetrack and, well, maybe pay as little attention as he possibly can to the rear view mirror in order to get a run at a race leader.
Yeah, the Motorola Cup the guys are so tight. These cars run so good. The Mustang, the BMW, the Firebirds, even though they've fallen out right now a little bit. But Mike has got to worry about what can the Mustang that's not even in the running do to me when I'm really trying to win this race. BMW's not won a race all year. They've been right there all year. This could be his day.
As we've got a little bit of a problem out on the racetrack as one of the slower Ford Mustangs seems to have a motor problem, but the race leaders get by to the outside, and he doesn't hold them up at all, and so far has posed no other problem for anyone else. Nonetheless, still that battle for second place continues, and now the problem for the other races is going to be a vision problem for the look of things. The 91 car in compact, the Phillips Tonelli Mazda Miata, picking his way through the crowd.
This is a fast car. This car ran with me when I was out there, and I was in my touring car. This car flies.
In the touring class, Bob Endicott continues to have a nice solid run again this afternoon. He and Peter Schwartzon sharing the BBS number 71 Acura, the touring class car again running like a top here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, John Green was leading this until 2 laps ago and all of a sudden broke a CV joint in the Honda Prelude of TI Racing.
That one's got to hurt as we are just moments away from the finish. Todd Snyder, our race leader in the 17 Zippo Ford Mustang. Matter of fact, we are on the last lap as he goes around corner number 1.
Yeah, but this ain't over. The BMW, he'll come into our screen in about half a second. The 22 car is going to be right there chasing Todd down. Todd, he is actually closed up within a half a second. In the last 3 laps, he's picked up 3 or 4 tenths per lap. He may have a plan for Todd Snyder.
Hey, Mike Culver is going to be driving the wheels off that BMW. Todd Snyder trying to ignore as best he can once again what's happening in his rearview mirror, trying to drive a nice smooth line around the racetrack. He's only got a couple more corners to get by. The 17 Zippo car still out front as we approach the final moments of the race here at the Glen. Here comes the BMW within a car length.
Yeah, and in the braking zone, you saw Snyder make that car real wide in the right-hand zone. Now we're coming up to the NASCAR track. You pull back over to the right. Todd's not going to. Mike's going to get the radius. He's going to try to pop back on the inside as we come to the flat-out 4th gear tree turn. 2 turns left. The Mustang leads. The BMW right behind him.
The Mustang with the power on the straightaways to hold off the BMW. The Mustang's just got to make it wide enough for the corners in order to get it done. Here they come to the checkered flag. Todd Snyder wins. Mike Culver has to settle for second. A great way to wrap up the day here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, beautiful race. Beautiful race. BMW almost had their first win. Snyder knows this racetrack.
Certainly knows a whole bunch about racecraft, making the Mustang maybe as wide as it needed to be over the course of the final few corners. A little bit further back, we've got a car slowing out on the racetrack. The 41 Will Nunamaker car is going to stop from the look of things.
That car was second in touring. This is going to give me 3rd place.
Andy Lawley in the 72 BMW Z3 is going to win in the sport class. In second right now in sport as we come down to the checkered flag, the Lexus is going to finish second today. They've got a first and the second over the course of their last 2 races. The 41 Mazda stops out on the circuit. Boy, this is a tough way to end the day.
It's a heartbreaker. I hate it for those guys, but I sure appreciate it.
Well, I'm afraid those things happen from time to time. The 91 Mazda Miata will win in compact. The 91 car with John Phillips, Peter Tonelli, and Mike Speck aboard wins their class.
Yeah, this car runs real good. It was right there with me all day.
Good enough to win their class as the balance of the field comes by.
Oh, there's my teammate. That's Gary Blackman. He's gone a little wide coming out of the corner. He was fighting for second place, and we'll still take 30. He limps it across the stripe.
The 91 Mazda Miata, Phillips and Tonelli win their class. Liebengood and Lally in the 72 BMW win sport. And we catch up to our race winner. Todd Snyder and Mark Ackley share the win in the 17 Zippo Ford Mustang. A great show by the 22 BMW team toward the end as well. We'll be back with the winners in just a moment. And now one final look at our STP leaderboard. The Grand Sport winners, Ackley and Snyder in the 17 Mustang. McMillan and Culver, the 22 BMW. David Lacey and Jay Maloney in the 7 Ford Mustang, 3rd.
In sports, Howie Liebengood, Andy Lawley, and the BMW win it today. The Bunning Gleason Lexus is 2nd, and Stuart Barrasso, number 10, comes up to 3rd.
In the touring class, Schwartzide Endicott in the 71 Acura, Dick Storita and John Wymore in their Mazda, and our man Terry Earwood on the podium with Gary Blackman in the 5900.
In compact, it's Phillips Tonelli Miata, first place. Second is the Fenton BD Del Sol, and in third, Hebert and Craig.
The next race is from Sebring, Florida for Terry Earwood. I'm Jim Martin saying so long.